Good morning. Welcome to math class today. We have been working on a new topic. Does anyone remember what it's called? It starts with a G, ends with an ometry. Josiah?
Geometry.
Geometry. He did it. All right. Geometry is the study of lines and points and shapes and all of this stuff. And I know that I have given you a lot of new information. So we're going to learn a lot, and then we're going to keep reviewing it. So today we're moving away from lines and angles to shapes. Okay? Some of this stuff maybe is review from last year. Okay? So we are going to walk through first. We're going to talk about all of our shapes. Those of you at home, I need your math notebook out or a piece of paper to take notes. And we have 5 shapes that we are learning about, 5 categories. All right? So in this first box, we're going to put the name of the shape. We're going to describe it, and then we're going to draw a picture of it. Okay? So our first shape, a really, really tricky one, is a square.
Hexagon. A square.
A square.
It has to be.
Shh. We need to have our voices off unless I call you. Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, what is one thing you know about how many sides a square has? Madeline?
4.
Always 4?
No.
Shh. I'm just talking to Madeline. Be confident in your answer.
Yeah.
It can only have 4 sides. Okay? So at the top it says quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals are shapes that have 4 sides. That's it. So up here, why don't we write quadrilaterals? Just say 4-sided. Okay? And if you want to know this, the word quad, have any of you ever ridden 4-wheelers? Maybe called them quads? Why do you think it might be called a quad? Angie?
It has 4 wheels.
Has 4 wheels. Okay? So quad means 4. So anytime you hear quadrilateral, it's a huge word, but it just means 4-sided shape. Okay? So a square is definitely 4-sided. Can we draw a picture of a square?
Yes.
All right, let's draw a picture over here, and then we'll write our definition. So best you can, we want to have right angles, right? A square has 4 right angles.
I drew a
That are
rectangle.
exactly 90 degrees.
Do we want all of our sides to be the same length?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
I
Do your best.
I drew.
Voices off.
They don't have to look perfect.
Voices off. Okay, now there are some symbols you can use when you draw shapes to show that all the sides are the same length, even if your artwork might not look perfect. Okay? So if all these sides are the same length, look what I can do. If I put this symbol on them, it means those are all the same length. So go ahead and do that to practice. You just draw a little line through it. So that means any side that has one line is the same length. So on that shape, they are all the same length. All right. So, definition of a square. You guys ready? All sides are the same length, and there are 4 right angles. So we can do bullet points, 2 of them. All sides, same length. Which we knew that, right? A square, in order to be a square, it has to have all 4 sides the same length, and it has 4 right angles. And I bet you didn't know that squares had a definition, but that's what it is. So if a shape meets all these criteria, all the sides are the same length, 4 right angles, it is a square. Any questions about a square? Okay. The next one we're going to do is almost a square, but not quite. So, in your next type of shape, I would like you to write rectangle. Rectangle. Let's go ahead and draw it first and then come up with our definition. Now, how is a rectangle different than a square? We've all seen one. Noah?
All sides are not the same length.
Okay. Are they all different?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're still
No.
right
Whoa,
angles.
whoa, whoa, we're all talking out of turn. Noah?
They're not all different. 2 of them are the same, and the other 2 are the same.
So the ones opposite each other are the same length, right? Okay. So when you draw your rectangle, you need to have maybe 2 shorter sides like that. And then the top and the bottom can be longer. Okay. So to mark your side lengths this time, watch how we can do it now. Are the top and the bottom the same?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put my line through them. Are the left and right sides the same length?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to mark them, but if I put a 1 line through, then that would mean they're the same as this. So this time I'm going to do 2 lines. So every side of my shape with 2 lines are the same length. It's just a helpful tip because not everyone that does math is a great artist, right? So you can use these symbols to show, even if your shape's a little wonky, these 2 sides are the same and these 2 sides are the same length. All right, what do you think about the corners of a rectangle? Do they have to be a certain angle? Hayden,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Right angle.
Right angle. So let's put our right angle symbols in all our corners. Rectangles all have right angles, just like a square. So then the definition, opposite sides are parallel. What does that mean? Opposite sides are parallel. Emma?
They're all parallel, but they're different sides.
Okay, so like these 2 sides, the opposite sides, are they parallel?
Yes.
Yeah, they'll never cross. Same with the top and bottom, right? Okay, so the opposite sides are parallel. And another thing we need to know, I'm going to put a slash. I'm trying to make this short for you. So opposite sides are parallel and, are they the same length? Opposite sides?
Yes.
Yes. Parallel, and you can just put same length. Okay, we're not turning this in. These are just your notes so that you can study and have a good reference sheet when you do your work. So that's the first thing that makes a rectangle a rectangle. And the other thing, 4 right angles, just like a square. And that's our rectangle. I'll give you a moment to get caught up on that.
I don't get the first sentence.
So the opposite sides are parallel. So that means this line and this line. Where are my markers? Are these lines parallel? They'd never cross?
Yes.
The railroad tracks? Yep. And so are these, right? I could keep going. They're never going to cross. So opposite sides are parallel.
Is opposite and the same word?
Opposite would be like the other across the shape. Okay, so the opposite side from this one, they're the same length and they're parallel. These are opposite sides, right? Opposite each other. They're the same length and they're parallel. So these are just our notes, Angie, so we're going to keep practicing, okay? So don't worry. All right, ready for our next shape? We're going to get a little bit more different, things we haven't talked about as much. Our next shape is parallelogram.
Oh.
So I'm going to write mine diagonally across, or this way. It's a long word, okay? I want to make sure I spell it right. Sometimes I spell this wrong. So it starts off parallel. We know what that word means. Parallelogram. A parallelogram. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and start drawing it. A parallelogram, actually let's do definition first. 2 pairs of opposite parallel sides. That's it. 2 pairs of opposite parallel sides. So give you a minute to write that, and then we'll draw it, and you'll see what that means. Two pairs of opposite parallel sides. Did it say anything about angles?
No.
So I don't have to have a right angle. So this is how this one works. So watch me draw it first. So you're going to do like slanty lines. Okay, are those lines parallel? Best I can, right? We do the best we can. So that's 1 pair of opposite parallel lines. And now I'm going to cover the top. So if these lines kept going, I'm just modeling how
Okay,
this
we're
works.
going to start the hawk selfies also. So if you have anyone in kindergarten who is getting their hawk selfie taken, they need to come to the office, please. Hawk selfies. Thank you.
All right, so I'm showing you if these lines extended, they're parallel, right? They would never cross. Same with these. If I extend these lines and think about them like railroad tracks, will they ever cross each other?
Nope.
Nope. So then it's a parallelogram. As long as if I have two pairs of sides that are both parallel, they can be slanted and smushed as much as I want. What if I had a shape like, well, I'm not doing a very good job. They're kind of hard to draw.
Yeah.
Is that still a parallelogram?
Yeah.
Yeah. Four sides, as long as the opposite sides are parallel, it's a parallelogram.
It's not the same length though.
Okay? Could a parallelogram, if I straightened it up to right angles, could it be a square?
Yeah.
It could be. Okay? Could it be a rectangle? Think this
No.
carefully.
No.
If I straightened it up, could it be a rectangle?
No.
No.
It would be a square.
Can a rectangle be a square?
Oh yeah.
Let's think this through a minute. So let's look at our rectangle definition. Opposite sides are parallel and the same length, 4 right angles. So if all my sides of my rectangle were the same length, it would be a square, right? Now, can a square be a rectangle?
No.
Yes. No. But if you make it longer, yeah.
Okay, these are the types of questions we're going to be asking ourselves. So as we're thinking about our shapes, make sure you're staying with me. We have one more to do, and I've got to move my paper up, unfortunately. This next one is called a rhombus.
Oh.
Rhombus. We've heard that word before.
It's a diamond.
R-H-O-M-B-U-S. Rhombus.
They're a little hard to draw.
All right, do not worry about spelling of these words. Anytime you have to spell them, they'll be provided in a word bank. A rhombus. Now, a rhombus is similar to a parallelogram, but it has more rules, okay? We have 2 rules for a rhombus. First rule, 2 pairs of parallel sides, okay, just like the other one. 2 pairs of parallel sides. Okay, so far that sounds like a parallelogram, right? But there's a second condition. All sides are the same length. All sides are the same length. So this time when you make your rhombus, we want to make sure that all of our sides are the same length. So really what you're trying to do, if you draw a square and then like shift it a little so it's slanted, that's a rhombus, right? Because a square, all sides are the same. We just need to shift it, okay? Because we don't need right angles for a rhombus. So let's go ahead, do your best. Think of a square that's been slanted. You want all the sides to be the same length. But we're not all amazing artists, so we know our symbols, right? If we put one line on every side, that means they're all the same length. Which is a very helpful tool when you draw math shapes. All right, so far we've got our square and our rectangle with right angles, right? They have to. Do parallelograms and rhombuses have right angles? Nope, it's not part of their definition, is it? Could I stick a piece of paper in any of these corners?
No.
No, they're not right angles. Not 90 degrees. All right, my last shape. I'm going to scoot my paper up. Give me one moment.
Now that just messed the whole thing.
You know what? I'm going to... What can I do?
You could erase the...
Yeah, I can put one up in the top. How about that? All right, I will put my last one up here in the top. so you're going to be down at the bottom. Okay. Last shape. And I think this is my favorite.
Why?
You'll see. This is a trapezoid.
Oh. Is that supposed to be a team?
Trapezoid.
Easel.
All right, the definition of a trapezoid is simple, okay? The definition says only one pair of parallel sides. That's it. So one pair of sides have to be parallel, never crossing. But the other sides don't have to be parallel. So we're going to draw two examples of a trapezoid, because those are the main two types you see. One type of trapezoid you'll see, the bottom's really long, the top's kind of short, and the sides are angled. How do we know that's a trapezoid? How do we know it follows our definition? Only one pair of parallel sides.
Oh,
What do you think, Aiden?
because there's only one pair that doesn't cross each other.
Good. The top and bottom, if I extended these out,
Still no
they're not going to cross, right? What about the sides? If I extend this and this, they're going to cross. So there's only one pair of parallel sides. It's a trapezoid. All right, the other way you can draw a trapezoid can look like this.
What?
Okay? My parallel sides are at the top and the bottom, right? You see that they're parallel?
Oh, we're still crossing.
Now these, though, if I extend that, they're going to cross. So those are two examples of trapezoids. Most of them look about like that, one way or the other. Could I switch this and have the point going off this side? Yeah, I could turn it upside down. So think about all the different ways a trapezoid could look. But there's only one pair of parallel lines on a trapezoid. All right. Now I know this is a lot of information. So honestly, we've gotten a little behind in math this year because you know why. It's been a crazy year. So we're trying to fit a bunch in. I don't want anyone getting overwhelmed. We are going to take a few days to slow down and review all the stuff we've learned and hopefully make a fun project with it all, okay? So hang in there. I know it's a lot of memorization. That is why today I'm going to give you some flashcards.
A hawk selfie, please come to the office. First grade hawk selfies. Thank you.
All right, so I am going to give you some flashcards tomorrow that you can cut out, take home, practice just like math flashcards. If you're having trouble remembering all your shapes and what they mean, okay? Madeline.
What is a hawk selfie?
Let's talk about that in a minute after our math lesson. Okay, any questions on these shapes? Madeline?
Okay, now can I have any second graders who need picture retakes? Second grade, picture retakes.
All right.
When you're going to the gym.
Thank you all for your patience. We have a lot of announcements today. It's picture retake day. All right. I am going to sign out and see you all later. Your math practice sheet is going to look like this, okay? So using your notes, do your best to answer all your questions. Tomorrow we're going to learn more about this stuff. I will see you all later.